Okay, today I think I'm going to get some more work done on the 55 F600 I'm restoring. Now I got to clean the shop out. So the dirt on the floor and move a few items so I can put the 55 Ford F600 frame in here and get a little work done on it. Well, I think I'm done with all the cleaning for now. I should do a little to my toolbox, but I wanted to get the majority of this cleaned up so I'll have a little more room to work. It's winter time, so everything is in here that can't get wet. So it's kind of crowded in here. So I cleaned up enough to where I think I can have enough room to put my F600 frame in here and have enough room over here to do some work to the fuel tanks for it. I'm going to put these two fuel tanks on it. They're both going to get painted black. I think I'm going to see about get the 55 F600 frame in here. Okay, this is my 55 F600. I got a tarp on the motor, but it's motor's been painted and stuff. I'd got to do a little work to it still. Frame's been painted. I swapped out front axles, swapped trannies. Tranny's been painted. I need to put the running board braces off a different truck on, so they got to be painted. And most recently, I worked on the frame here, and it was a fuel truck, so they had cut a chunk up all the way across here. So I got a chunk of truck frame and welded it in there. And they had cut the frame right here, because you can see they didn't line it up quite right. So, and then I did some repairs. They had chopped a chunk out of the cross member right here, and this cross member was broke clear in half right here. And same here. I didn't finish that because I figured I'd just make it worse if I did. You can see the kind of the bow in the frame. This whole frame was pretty bad shape. I have this cross member I need to put in right across right here. I welded these chunks on because the frame was cut off here, and I plan to put a fifth wheel on this, and so I'm going to use this as a mud flap hanger. And I got to do a little welding to this one right here to get it out far enough and finish it up, put this in, patch a couple of spots where they did a little welding to it, and then I got to finish painting the back half of the frame. Then the fuel tanks, I've got a brace in here. They're going to get mounted on, this is the rear cab mount, so the back of the cab is right here. And they're going to get mounted on here. So I'll have the orange fuel tank on this side and the black one on that side. And it'll have a crossover pipe, so I'll only need one fuel gauge. And the original tank goes right here, but I'm going to take these things off. I'm not going to run the original tank due to I don't have a good one, and I like the look of the others better. And so I'm going to do a cab guard type deal, headache rack, and it'll have, I'm thinking about doing cab lights across there, but I haven't decided what kind. Of course, it's going to have a radio antenna right up there. It was already there, so I'm going to leave it. I'm converting this one to 12 volts, so I'll be able to run a CB in it. I got to paint the wheels and the hubs still. I still got to pack wheel bearings. So, and I got a little bit more work to do to the frame first before I do all that. It's gonna have quarter fenders and mud flaps and a fifth wheel, and debating on whether to do a chain box in this area. Possibly this area. We'll see what happens, what it looks like when I get everything put on. I might do a headache rack and a toolbox here and a chain box here. And I think I'm going to rig it up to have a receiver possibly. We'll see what happens there. And so I got some work ahead of me, but it'll look good when it's done. I got these brand new tires at the scrapyard, so I just got to paint the wheels. I got matching pair. One of them's got a little more wear than the other one, but I think this one has a little more wear than the other one, but they'll work on here for now. They're pretty nice tires. And I've got some more that are going to go on the back. But to get it in and out of the shop here, I have to take the front tires off, air the back ones down, and put the brake drums on car dollies. And the cab little piece antenna up there will clear the door by about an inch. So I'm going to get the frame all done and the cab painted, and then I'll bring the frame in, put the cab back on, pull it out, and then I'll have to do doors and fenders and hood and stuff. So got a ways to go, working on lots of other projects at the same time, so that makes it even slower. But I spent quite a bit of time this year doing a bunch of work on the front end here. Swapped out axles due to kingpins were an axle were worn that came out of here pretty bad. So, and there was some broken springs, so I swapped axles with a different truck and swapped springs around. So now I have two good springs and good kingpins. And then I gotta check out the brakes and all that kind of stuff. Try the master cylinder. I don't want to replace it if I don't have to, but I'm gonna guess I'm gonna have to probably. And then I gotta figure out the vacuum booster. So it's got the 5-speed and the 2-speed rear end, and so It'll have lots of gears. Figure put the fifth wheel on it, and then I can pull our camp trailer with it, and eventually make a trailer to pull with it that I can haul cars and trucks and stuff on. And so, because the truck itself will go 16,000, so I figure a single axle trailer or maybe a gooseneck that with the front end modified a little bit, I could go 26, no problem, and haul quite a bit. Because the truck itself only weighs 5,000, so figured the trailer would weigh 5 to 7,000, and so that would give me 16,000 or more to haul, probably a little more than that. So anyway, that's the plan for this truck. Now that I have the 55 in here, I'm going to go ahead and start working on the fuel tanks and possibly the rear cross member. But first I figured I'd start by cutting off this piece of angle iron that they welded on, like I cut it off the end of this fuel tank brace, and then I'll probably figure out where I need to mark for my holes on the frame for both sides. So I'm thinking I might do a little bit to this cross member too. We'll see. See how things go. Okay, I got that piece off, so now I can go ahead and mark for my holes on the frame for both sides and get them marked, and then probably maybe drill them. I don't know if I'll have time tonight, but we'll see. So I got this fuel tank just kind of on approximately where I figure I want it. Got the holes marked, and so I might just tighten it up a little bit, the bands up onto the tank a little bit, and put it on the other side and see what happens there. But I think first I'm going to drain it. It's still got a little gas left in it, so I think I'll drain it and then decide what I'm going to do from there. Well, I didn't get it all drained, but I'm going to have to do more Sunday. I have too much going on tomorrow to do any. So I will continue this project on Sunday. Okay, I have gotten the rear cross member in. It was a little bit of work, but it went in. I've got the holes drilled for the fuel tanks, but I was kind of tempted to see about making a spare tire carrier. So that's what I'm making now. It takes the same bolt pattern as what the fuel tanks will take. So I would be able to pull it off and put it back on whenever I wanted. Cut the center out of an old wheel and welded some studs into it. So got holes drilled on both sides, and got the piece down here fixed. So this is the original piece, and I made this one because the spot for the bolt on the transmission is broke off to where the bolt doesn't grab enough threads to be very strong. So, and this is just to keep it from pulling the brake over instead of squishing it. So it squishes it. So I've fixed that. Let's see, what else have I done here? I don't know. I did get there's the fuel tank band for the orange tank. You can see I drilled 4 holes. And these are the 2 bands for the black fuel tank, and it's going to need a little cleaning. So I'm not sure yet if I'm just going to run 1 fuel tank and a spare, or run 2 fuel tanks. The orange tank, if I run just 1 tank and a spare, I'd run the orange tank because it's bigger. Probably 40, maybe 50 gallons instead of 30. But we'll see what happens. I ought to pull the water pump off the motor, but I don't want to do that yet. I need to pull the old fuel tank bands off here. And since I'm not going to be using the original tank, need to get the 5th wheel, figure out where I'm going to put the holes on the frame for it. But first I want to get this finished, so I got to pull the tire off and figure out what all I need to build a piece to lift the tire up, so it's not as hard for me to do it. I can lift them up there, but it's not very easy. They're not very light. So, go driving this a whole lot, it might be nice to be able to take a spare with me. So, we'll see what all I get done today. So, I think I'm going to turn the heater on and probably get some work done. Okay, I got this welded. I had to build up a few areas. I ought to build up a couple of others due to the way it was cut. But it's welded all the way around now. I don't know if I'll build up this side any or not. Could use a little building up. But I did this side because it was quite a bit cut a little bit different angles, so So that's all done. Not sure yet if I'm just gonna leave it this way for now or build a piece in the middle to lift the tire. I might do that later. But the center's out of a burn-up wheel. The wheel had a tire on it when the truck got burned up. So I was not afraid to cut the wheel up. So now I just gotta decide what I'm gonna do as far as if I'm gonna build the piece that lifts the tire or if I'm just gonna paint it and put it on this way. Either way, I got more work to do to the truck, so let's see what I decide to do next. Well, since this is done for now, I got out my sander. I'm gonna sand some of this orange paint off here. Get this one cleaned up a little bit, and then work on the other one. So I'm gonna get a little bit of this done. Well, I got the majority of the orange paint stripped off. So tomorrow, I think I might see about getting the sandblaster out and see if I can get it to work and finish cleaning the rest of the orange paint off and clean all the tight areas on that. And do the other one too. But due to running into town, I haven't gotten much done. I got that welded up and this cleaned off and a couple other little things done. But after I get the bands done and painted, I'm not sure. I know for sure I'm going to clean all the orange paint off the fuel tank there. But I'm not sure if I'm going to paint the fuel tank body color or black. The bands are going to be black, like the frame. Same paint as the frame will get when I finish it completely. So, and then I have to decide whether I want the spare tire carrier on there or the fuel tank. And I can switch back and forth if I want to, anytime. So, anyway, I think that ought to do it for today. And go at it again tomorrow.